Thank you for the kind introduction, and I'm delighted to have this opportunity to do a little bit self-promotion, actually. So in my past 13 years, I was trained not to express my personal opinion because I work at the Tufts Evidence-Based Practice Center. So this is actually my first time trying to promote myself. So I would like to switch gear a little bit and from John's excellent presentation, and I'm not going to show you a lot of data, and I'm going to show you a lot of beautiful work that I have been doing with funding from ILSI, North America. So this is my disclosure that I received funding from ILSI, North America to conduct one systematic review and one future research need assessment. And all the opinions and statements I made today are my own. So definitely contain my intellectual biases. So like I said, this is a little bit of self-promotion of a showcase of the project that I have been working on or completed. So the first systematic review, actually a couple years ago, I got the funding from ILSI to conduct a systematic review on fructose, high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this is a little bit different from what the work that John has been doing, because we included not only randomized control trial, but also observational studies. So it's kind of a little bit harder to write as a manuscript. So unfortunately, our first attempt of submission was not accepted, and I'm still, well, I am happy to report that I was able to use some of the beautiful writing and data that we had collected as part of the systematic review in the book that Dr. Rippey, who is the editor of the book. And I cannot show you the finding because I'm planning to submit the manuscript next week, actually, after this conference. And but I can tell you a little bit that we find very similar finding as John just presented to you. In addition to that, we synthesize the data from observational study as well, and then we rated the totality of body of evidence. Today my talk will be focused on the future research need, sugars and health evidence map project that Cody and I actually have been working hard on it. And as part of this future research need project, we had completed a evidence map for all sugars and health study. And so I'm a big promoter of transparency and open data sharing, and all my data are deposited to systematic review data repository. So this is a website that you can just go there. You don't need to register. You just download, click on the Excel spreadsheet and download all the data that I have been collected, we had collected as part of sugar and health evidence map, as well as the fructose, sucrose, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease systematic review. Why I'm doing this? Because I think that it's very important to have a data repository of nutrition studies. I'm hoping that you will be convinced by me that this is so very important, and it's going to save costs and save resources in the future. And so I'm going to talk to you about the evidence mapping project as part of future research need assessment that we have established a database of sugar and health studies. So evidence mapping probably is a very new terminology that you never heard about. So evidence mapping describes the quantity, design, and characteristics of research in a broad research area. And there's really no definition for the term broad, but here basically it's in comparison to a typical systematic review, typically you can only look at 1 or 2 exposure and one or two outcomes of interest in a given systematic review. So evidence mapping basically follow the same steps of a systematic review, except that we do not do quality assessment of the included study, and we do not collect the result of the included study. And you may ask, so what if without result and quality assessment of the included study, what's good for this evidence map database then? So I'm hoping to show you that there are a variety of reasons why one might do an evidence mapping project to describe the characteristics of published study in a broad research area. So you will see a couple of the examples of scoping study, and scoping study, which is the descriptive analysis of evidence map data. And we can, you will see some of the examples that we use evidence map analysis to identify research gaps, and evidence mapping can also be used to determine the value of undertaking a full systematic review on a specific topic areas. And evidence map, most importantly, evidence map has been shown, well, hopefully we will be able to show that evidence mapping is very useful to guide future research future research efforts. So, so a lot of effort involved in doing a systematic review, as you know, John, and typical time frame of a given systematic review on just one or two exposure of interest or one or two outcome is about 1.5 years, I would say. So this is the number of Sugar's article published on PubMed alone. And I did this search just before I came to this conference and then plotted my search result. So you can see that now, we have more than 25,000 articles published in a given year just on the sugars in this broad field of sugars human studies, okay? So, and this is the overview of our future research need assessment project in which we incorporated a evidence map process with input from a diverse stakeholder panel to prioritize what are the most important research topic in this broad field of sugar and health. Okay, and more detail. I will show you more detail of these activities with specific example later in the presentation. So the first example that I would like to show you is the scoping study that using evidence map to do a descriptive analysis of evidence map data and to use this analysis result to identify research gap. And you see this, this is called Prisma flowchart. As I mentioned to you briefly, evidence mapping is basically the first few steps in a systematic review. So we conducted a very broad search, and we identified a little bit over 13,000 abstracts to screen. And from there, we excluded a little bit over 12,000 abstracts. And all these are tracked, okay, in a database. So you can actually ask me to send you the list of the 12,000 citations that we have rejected, and then I'm able to send you this list of 12,000 if you want. But this is not very important actually, because most of the abstracts were rejected because they are either not human study or totally not related to the broad field of sugar and health. And from there, we included 708 articles in our evidence map step 1 database. So this evidence map step 1 database, basically we collected very basic information from this 708 article that can inform future systematic reviewers, if you will, or inform any investigator who is interested in the broad field of sugar and health, what are the topics that had been investigated in this broad field. So to give this basic information, we collected data on population and intervention or exposure, and a list of outcomes investigated in each article. So from here, we presented the very basic descriptive analysis result to our great stakeholder panel, and they voted, or they prioritized what are the important outcomes to move forward to the step 2 evidence map database. So from there, we included 213 studies in the step 2 evidence map database, and you will hear more about the data that we had collected from this 213 article later in the presentation. And I would like to draw your attention to this 30 studies that were mixed in our search. That was because we later found out that a lot of older mean prior to 1990, somewhere like a lot of control feeding study, they simply not index as an intervention study or trial on Medline. So we identified 30 mixed study from published systematic review. A lot of systematic review we identified from John's group, and then we were able to add them into the step 2 evidence map database. And so here, finally, we in our step 2 evidence map database, we included 212 studies, and we deposit all the data to SRDR. And this is our inclusion criteria for the step 2 evidence map database. It's human intervention and cohort study, and study need to quantify the fructose, sucrose, or total sugar amount. So in other words, we excluded many of sugar-sweetened beverage study that the original author did not tell us any information about the sugar amount in the intervention or in the observational data. Yes, we can try to estimate that, but we decided not to estimate the sugar amount based on the full frequency questionnaire data that typically presented in the cohort study. And our exclusion criteria were studies in infant and non-oral intake of sugar. And so this is the descriptive analysis, just some example of descriptive analysis that we did using the evidence map data. So we have 202 intervention study, including control feeding study and 11 cohort studies. And we collected some information on the baseline health status of the study participant. As you can see, most of studies were conducted in healthy people, and some study conducted in type 1 and type 2 diabetes patients, and some study exclusively conducted in overweight or obese people, and there are some study conducted in non-healthy people with other chronic diseases. And so one study, so this is the characteristics of sugar intervention study that we included in our evidence map. And you can see that the number of sugar interventions now increased to 381. That's because one study may have included more than one sugar intervention. So, this is total number of sugar intervention from 191 sugar intervention study. So the most popular sugar intervention was sucrose, actually, and the next popular sugar intervention is fructose. This is high fructose. This does not include high fructose corn syrup. This is pretty much pure fructose, and And then, some study use sugar intervention, and next popular one is glucose, honey, high fructose corn syrup, and fructose plus glucose solution, and aspartame. Okay? Oops, sorry. And with the input from our stakeholder panel, we were able to decide what are the 8 top important outcome group. Okay, I have to stress that this grouping is just a label of group. So it consisted of a variety of endpoints or a variety of outcomes within each group. For example, in the outcome group type 2 diabetes, we included glycemic profile, glucose tolerance test, pre-diabetes, and this is not exhaustive list. And then we, in our sugar and health evidence map database, we have a total over 400 outcomes, reported from 213 studies. On average, median number of outcomes reported in one given article is 4, and ranging from 1 to 35. And you can see a lot of outcome reporting bias here, and just by looking at the number of outcome reported in a given article. And very often the author did not specify which one is the primary outcome. So these are the top 8 important outcomes groups that were voted by the stakeholder panel to be discussed in our in-person meeting, which is January 30th at ILSI in DC. So the top 8 outcomes include type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, body composition, body weight, mortality, appetite, diet quality, and liver health. And this is just an example of type of analysis that we are able to do and present to our stakeholder panel for their discussion. This is a growth chart of published sugar study. You can see that this is an indication of which outcomes are hot research topic in the field, and how many studies had been published in the given year. So you can see that as expected, type 2 diabetes associated outcomes still the hot research topic in the sugar and health field. And then the second popular outcome is cardiovascular disease outcome. Oh, sorry. And you can see that some of our other outcome of interest here. So I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to quickly tell you that there are several research gaps that we identified just by looking at the data that we have in the evidence map. So there's no study examining the fructose or sucrose or sugars and all-cause mortality outcome currently published, okay? But all-cause mortality outcome was voted as one of the top 8 important outcome by the stakeholder panel. And there are very few studies investigated high fructose corn syrup. And much fewer studies measure body composition outcome than body weight. Okay, so this is, so the second, well, I just going to show you that evidence map can also identify topics that probably have accumulated enough evidence to justify a full systematic review. For example, that we identified 30 trials on sugars and hunger or satiety outcome has been, but there's currently no systematic review on this topic. Okay, so some of you might want to conduct a systematic review, and the search already been done, and you can go to search my evidence map and get the 30 trials, and of course you have to cite me because we spent so much time to screen abstract for you and then collected this list of 30 trials for you. So these two research questions are important research questions to be answered. And these are some of the data that we identified by analyzing our evidence map. Okay, finally, that I just want to show you that Courtney, primarily Courtney and expertise who has helped me to establish this diverse and balanced stakeholder panel. So we included representatives from different investigators with different expertise, and we included policymakers. We included a representative from evidence-based methodology, and we included one lay audience to give us the perspective on the general public. So finally, that we are currently at this stage. Our in-person meeting is coming up, and we hope to come out with we hope to discuss the 8 top prioritized outcome group, and then from there we hope to discuss the final list of research priority in the field of sugar and health. So summary that I want to say again, that open data sharing is important to increase research transparency and integrity. And you heard a lot about research transparency and integrity this morning, and I'm a big fan of open data sharing. And evidence mapping is cost-effective because in comparison to a systematic review, it's shorter duration, and then it's also a systematic method to facilitate evidence synthesis and future research need assessment. So this is my last slide to give my thanks to Courtney again, and my research coordinator, Dina Wang. And this work is not possible if I don't have a great team of graduate students at Tufts University.